You know, when it comes to casting crankbaits, especially big ones like the tail dancer, and especially the tail dancer 11 that dives to 30 feet, there's a lot of torque produced by the lure. And you want to have enough power that if you hit vegetation or a large fish hits it, to set the hook. That means using a fairly stiff rod. So the rod that I'm holding up here is part of the Magnum series. It's 7.5 feet long. And if you look at the rating, it's rated for line from 10 to 25 pound test. Now we're using 30-pound test titanium braid today with a fluorocarbon leader. The leader is either 20 or 30 pounds. I've used 2 of them. And what I want to show you is the connection that I've used. Because a lot of times when you're fishing these crankbaits, you're casting right along the weed edges and sometimes right into the weeds. And you don't really want weeds to get caught on a swivel or on a bulky knot like a uni knot, 2 uni knots. So what I've done here, I've taken my fluorocarbon, I've melted the tip of it, and then I've done a perfect snell knot and tightened it, okay? So this is what the end product looks like. In just a moment, I'm going to show you how to actually create this knot, because it's a very smart knot and it doesn't slip, even if you get a big fish on or you get caught on the bottom and you got to put a lot of leverage on it, okay? So first of all, here are the lines that we're using. We're using a fluorocarbon leader in either 20 or 30 pound test in the titanium braid. The reason I like to use the braid is there's no stretch, and the 30-pound titanium braid has 8-pound test monofilament diameter. So these 2 lines work really well together. Now here's how you do the connection. So what I've got in my hand here is a section. This is about 14 inches of the fluorocarbon leader. And what I've done, I've taken a lighter, I've lit the back. It's going to be a little bit windy here, but this is for demonstration purposes only. You start your lighter, and the flame went out right away, and you melt the end of it. You see how there's a little bit of a ball there? Believe it or not, that fluorocarbon is very hard, and that ball will not give. So that's what I'm going to use to stop my knot from slipping. Now the next thing that I do is I take my fluorocarbon leader and I go to the other end, and with the end of my line I make a loop, and then what I'm going to do is wrap the line around about 6 to 20 times. Look, I'm going up towards my fingers, okay? Watch what happens here. This is called a perfect snell. So I'm trying not to wrap the strands one on top of each other, and you can see that I'm moving my fingers along. Okay, I've got maybe about 12 to 14 wraps. I'm going to hold it there. I'm going to pull the tag end tight. Okay, so right now the knot is loose. You see that it's wrapped there? I'm going to grab the fluorocarbon, take the knot and the line and slide it all the way up to where the knot is. Now I'm going to start to tighten it as much as I can. Watch. There I go, tightening it. I'm going to take the fluorocarbon and pull it so that it goes right to the knot. Now I'm going to take the knot and the braid and tighten it as much as I can. You see that compression that we've got there? It's nice and tight. And now I'm going to take my scissors that are designed for cutting the titanium braid. I'm going to trim it nice and close. I want to show you how neat that connection is. The more you pull on this knot, the tighter it gets, and it will not slip off the end. It's a great way to make a line connection when you got to use a titanium braid that's a very slippery line onto a fluorocarbon, which is a very hard line. But you know what? This makes excellent leader material as well. Keep casting, Bill.
Excellent.
There's definitely something about the spot, because look, the boat is right over the GPS spot. Amazing, eh? This is fun, this fishing, especially when you're catching, you know what I mean? Not so much fun when you're just casting all day. Feels like a walleye, you can tell from that bulldog fight. The rods that Bill and I are using are 7-foot medium action spinning rods. So they've got enough stiffness to set the hook, but also enough flex that you get a really nice bend in the rod. This looks like it's another take-home fish, which is nice. For how warm the water is, you know, it's 80 degrees here, Bill. These guys are fighting pretty good. Good, nice job. You've had lots of practice netting fish,
yeah.
All over. Okay, stop thrashing so I can get this guy. They're nice and thick. One thing I've noticed here in the bay, much like the Lake Erie fish, they're very, very healthy. So I'm just going to hold them up here. So you can see how thick the fish are if I hold it up by the back. Really chunky, so you get really nice fillets off the fish. Okay, well, you try to get my lure out. I'm going to get this guy in the live well as well. You can see we've got a nice bright day, and we're really fishing an open water flat, a weed flat, but the fish are not on the actual weed flat. They're just off the end of it in about 10 to 12 feet of water. So we're off the spot. The spot is about 20 or 30 yards behind Bill. So you know what? I don't have any confidence that we're going to catch fish out here. So I'm going to putt-putt. You're okay standing.
Okay.
I'm going to leave the electric in. I'm going to putt-putt back up so we can fish our spot that we've marked because it's been producing.
Canadian Sport Fishing has been brought to you by Rapala Premium Fishing Gear, crafted from experience. Yamaha on the water. This is my Yamaha. What kind of Yamaha are you? Dickies, a legend in work since 1922. Lucky Strike. More fish fight with a Lucky Strike.
A couple of head shakes, a couple of runs. I find that they fight pretty hard, especially when you get them up like 4 to 8 pounds, you know, even 10 pounds. Okay, let's have a look at them. Is it even a walleye or is it a bass? It's fighting too hard. Maybe it's a smallmouth. Who knows? It's a walleye. Got tons of energy. Wow. He's about the size of the one you caught earlier. Nice net job. That fish is about, I'm guessing, 17 inches, very healthy. It's actually ideal eating size. A lot of guys will keep some of the larger fish.
Right.
I like to keep them under about 23 inches. That's the ideal size for eating because you get really nice fillets on them.